Hey y'all, I'm Shauna. Welcome in and welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new video. Today, I'm going to be doing a bit of a de-influencing video. Every now and again, I look at content from other creators who are either trying to de-influence their audience from buying something or have a positive influence, like using what you have or promoting longevity, things like that. I just had a lollipop. So excuse the red tongue. So hopefully today's video is overall a positive one. I think that the content gathered overall is leaning positive. People encouraging us to shop intentionally, to use what we have, and in some cases, de-influencing. We're going to get started with our first post. Usually on TikToks, I try to make it a little bit challenging to find the creator just because I don't want people or negativity sent their way in this case, because I think overall the messaging is positive. I'm going to be calling out the creator. So our first creator is Hope. Let's watch. So the title of this video, when you first open it up, is Resetting and Redecorating. And then the caption of the video says, redecorating every time I need to feel inspired. And in this video, she's cleaning up her space, doing some vacuuming, some sweeping, some, dishes, that kind of thing. And then also she appears to be moving some of her stuff around, putting in different positions or adding new things from what it seems like she already has, lighting a candle, that kind of thing. This is a really great strategy to use if you are feeling bored of your space or a room, but it also doesn't have to be a room. Like this also applies to your closets or like a desk space. Reorganizing, repositioning, or even cleaning can go a huge way to making your space feel fresh or new, exciting. Sometimes we want to go shopping because we've ingrained that habit of feel bored of our space, buy something new for it. Or we want to feel a little bit of novelty, which, can be attached to boredom, but sometimes not. Go shopping. And so we can find other outlets for boredom and novelty that still involve the space. Sometimes getting our minds off it and doing something else is the answer, but also sometimes getting our hands into our own space is the answer. It could be small, like moving artwork around your house, or it could be big, like repositioning your sofas or moving a big rug from upstairs to downstairs. There's so many options or things available to us that can make our spaces feel fresh, clean, new, or exciting without buying anything new. And if you move things around your home, then it does feel like you have something new because you've never seen art in that space before. And that can really change the colors of the room or just add some novelty. We're going to move on to our next TikTok, and this woman is going to be talking about waiting. This was actually sent to me and I loved it so much. I really wanted to include it. The creator in question is Ursula de Castro.
We can't keep buying shit and throwing it into landfill. We just can't anymore because we know this system is seriously affecting nature and humanity. Simple. So, I am going to show you something thrilling and exhilarating. How to wait. Waiting for something you want is sexy. So first of all, I asked myself, what is it that I really want? Some people make wish lists. I don't. And right now my wardrobe is pretty full, but I think I've got space for an Elvis and Cressy bag. I want the yellow one. Then what I do is that I take 2 boxes, one real and one invented, which lives in my head, and I start saving money. For real or in my imagination trade-offs. Like, the other day, I refrained from buying something I saw in a second-hand store, which would have cost me 8 quid. So that went into the box in my head. While this morning, I found a tenner in my pocket and I put it in the real box, which is this one. Now, this box belonged to my great-grandfather, so it knows a thing or two about the importance of time. So there you go. Tenner, 8 quid. And then at some point I will get to the right sum, and that day will be glorious, and I will buy my bag, the one that I longed for, and we will live happily ever after. If we could all buy like that once a year, maybe, if we could fulfill an intention that takes us to such a tangible, delicious conclusion, simply having saved for and having savored what was to come, instead of succumbing to weekly buys that give no more than 5 minutes of gratification, and which are often the wrong fit. To want and to wait, to desire and to deprive yourself. A little suffering that goes a long way.
I really like her. She has great energy, great style, and she provides a really good example of waiting. And I really like this idea of making waiting sexy and idealizing waiting because, we can use social media to influence us for bad, but also for good. And I could see myself personally, if I was watching content like her, going, yeah, waiting is sexy. Waiting is such a good idea. And just being influenced to desire to wait or to save up and or remind myself that there are things out there that I may want that will be so great to wait for, and just reminding me of the importance of that. To get more into it, she suggests wish listing, and I hear a lot of people in this community who enjoy the wish list thing, which can be as simple or as complicated as you would like, and it can take a lot of forms. It could take a literal notes app, like little section on your phone. You write something in there every time you want something. Could be as simple as a t-shirt, $50 or whatever it is. You could do a template or a spreadsheet on Google Sheets or, Microsoft Excel. You could do a Notion database on this. You could also, if you're a paper person, you could have a notebook. I fantasize about this actually because I have a notebook that is still packed away in my box over there that I haven't really known what to do with it because it's an awkward sized notebook that I wouldn't use for most things. And what this notebook could be is just a log of stuff that I would like. You create a really simple table, item, date, price. Every time you want something, you add it in there. Over time, probably wouldn't be a year's worth, probably would be multiple years worth. At the end, you have this book, this reminder of all of the things that you wanted, and some of which I may have bought, some of which I may not have bought. I find that idea very appealing, just to me personally. Anyway, you could make your wish list as simple or as complicated as you want. I have Notion databases that, like 8, 9 columns that is pretty quick to input online. Now, waiting can be a deeply fulfilling thing, and it is an essential skill to have, or you could also think about it as a habit, but it is also ultimately a learned behavior because, as I mentioned, waiting is a skill or a habit that needs to be cultivated or strengthened or practiced. So if you're somebody who is used to shopping out of impulsivity or problem solving, when you're bored, shop. Stressed, shop. Looking for novelty, shop. I'm in bed at night, I scroll. My entertainment, shopping. We can ingrain habits involving shopping that we may not fully realize as habits that can affect our capacity as well as our desire to wait. There are other factors too. Humans tend to value rewards in the present far more than rewards in the future. And this is usually called present bias. In classic experiments, you might have heard about the marshmallow experiment. Kids were given the option of having 1 marshmallow now or 2 marshmallows later if they waited. The immediate reward felt more valuable and also more tangible than the future reward. In shopping, the now reward is the pleasure. Clicking hit, clicking buy, clicking checkout, or if you're in a physical space, doing the whole pay at the counter thing. Waiting, even if it means more money in your pocket or more money for the future or a better purchase later, these things can feel less compelling because our brains can discount future rewards. A lot of research in neuroscience, including the marshmallow test, as well as others like Wolfram and Schultz, show that dopamine spikes during the anticipation of reward, not just when we get it. When we look at habits themselves, anticipation can build in the pleasure, and the reward also becomes a pleasurable thing to do, and that's how habits form. But what happens over time is that we don't actually need the reward to exist in order to contain the habit loop. And there's lots of evidence where people continue doing the thing or doing the habit long after the behavior is no longer pleasurable or positive. This anticipation is often stronger than the satisfaction you get after the product arrives. And it's that urgency that pushes people to buy now or buy sooner before they've had the time to think about something. Behavioral scientists Jason Palek and others have found that even how we pay can affect our pleasure as well as anticipation, or how our payment methods alter our spending. Cash makes the pain, if you will, immediate and upfront. And what behavioral scientists have found is that this tends to slow people down. In the modern world, it's not just credit cards, but one-click payments as well as buy now, pay later save that pain for another time. In other words, services separate payment from the moment of purchase. This reduces the pain and makes people more likely or more prone to act on impulse. So this deferred payment reduces some of that friction that might otherwise exist and slow us down. All of these factors can factor into why it may be more difficult to wait. There are so many additional factors that factor in to why things may be easier or more difficult to wait beyond what I just mentioned. So right now, if you're not great at waiting, that's okay. And this is a skill or a habit that we can develop slowly over time. And there are many strategies that we can employ to strengthen that muscle and that skill. I would really be remiss if I didn't say this, because I don't want you to necessarily get into your mind that, okay, I'm going to all of a sudden save up $1,000 over the next 6 months to pay for something I really want, when you're used to buying something every other day. That may be possible for some people, but it may not be possible to others. And you could get yourself into a spending spiral if you automatically just cold turkey your shopping habits. And I think that a lot of us, whether we're good at waiting or not, this kind of content that glamorizes waiting instead of glamorizes shopping is probably more beneficial or has benefits to incorporating into the media that we consume. All right, we're going to move on. And we are now going to look at somebody who is doing a little bit of apartment de-influencing. Somebody sent this to me on TikTok and they were like, oh, I think you would really like this. They were right.
I pay less for my 1-bedroom apartment with a spiraled staircase that leads upstairs to my loft than you pay for your simple 1-bedroom apartment, but it doesn't come without its faults. This is my sink. I don't know if it's a stainless steel sink, nor do I care. It still washes dishes and holds dishes. This is my white microwave and white stove. It is dirty. I'm in the process of cleaning the kitchen. That's why I'm making this video, but they work just fine. Are they stainless steel? No. Are they brand new? No. Do I need them to be? No, because why? They still do their job. This is my seemingly vintage dishwasher. I don't know when it was made, nor do I care, because it still washes dishes. This is my all-white refrigerator and freezer. They aren't brand new. They still fridge and freeze things. I make up for not having the nicest, newest kitchen by buying nice and new cool appliances like a pink Keurig, a pink toaster, and a pink blender. Ow. I also have a pink Paris Hilton air fryer. Who else has that? Obviously someone else who bought the pink Paris Hilton air fryer, but not a lot of people have that in their unit. You can also tell that I have an older kitchen because the wood cabinets aren't really wood. There's wallpaper chipping and peeling off of it. There seems to be some type of sawdust type wood under there, so technically they weren't lying. I say all that to say that if you're looking for a new apartment, you don't have to go big all the time, because I experienced financial turmoil because I was trying to go big all the time. Just find yourself a unit that works for you, that you do love, It just might not have all the updated appliances, but you don't need that. As long as it works and you have a roof over your head, you're blessed and you're fine. Trust me.
I feel like somebody out there needs that message today. Maybe you're looking for a new place, or maybe you're like, oh, I just want to get out of this place. And you know what? Maybe you do need to get out of that place. But also, there's a chance, depending on your circumstance, that we're being influenced by our perception of what other people have or what we're seeing online. And we don't need the newest, nicest things to be happy. This video could definitely be in the normalizing normal life video because of her message and what we talk about in that video or in that series. A new video just went up last week if you want to catch it. What this reminds me of is sometimes we try to convince ourselves that we do need better things to be happy, or we need nicer or newer things to be happy, or that like we must upgrade or we should upgrade even. Certain kinds of countertops and appliances might be nice to have because of the way that they look, but if you have stuff that's fully functional, then it's not necessary. Certain kinds of countertops and appliances are almost always a nice to have at best, and that is really easy to lose sight of. It's so easy when you're apartment shopping or hunting to get caught up in the bells and whistles. I was in those trenches a few months ago. I myself nearly got swept up in that. Personal example. When I was looking for a new place, set a budget. And this place that I have now, very wonderful, very beautiful, but there was two choices, this place and another place. The other place was $100 over budget, and this place was about $300 under budget. The other place, perfect. It was dream, amazing place. It had a garage, it had a small backyard that was easily maintained. It had linen closets and extra storage. It was right across the street from a quiet park. It was on a quiet street. Lovely. This place doesn't have as many bells and whistles. It doesn't have the garage. It doesn't have a backyard. It doesn't have a linen closet. In the grand scheme of things, some inconveniences. Like we live kind of far from our door. So when you have groceries, we also have to walk up a big flight of stairs to get into our home, opposed to if you're let's say you have a regular townhouse or a home, you tend to be able, like you're at street level a lot of the time, not always. So we don't have that. That's not a must have. A garage is a nice to have. And if you've grown up with the garage or you see everybody around you with the garage, you can feel like that's just what homes have. No, lots of people live in condos where there is underground parking, but not a garage. This place is beautiful, by the way. It kicks the other places tiny in terms of windows. Sorry to say that other place, but the windows here are 10 out of 10, top notch. Anyway, if you don't go for the bells and whistles, or you go for a place that's smaller or farther away, whatever it is your kind of might be a nice to have versus a must have, then there's going to be a trade-off with money. And in some cases, the upgrade is necessary or would enhance your quality of life. And that's a good thing. But that also comes with financial trade-offs. And it is worth asking, would I benefit more from having the money or the upgrade? That's not rhetorical because, there's going to be certain people in one camp versus the other. I think that's just an important reminder, or maybe like a moment to check in if you're somebody apartment hunting. Are the things that I'm looking for or the things that I think I might want to splurge on, are they must-haves or are they nice-to-haves? And what do I value more, the upgrades or the money? In this case, it would be like in your bank account or in your pocket. Let's move on to the next one. And we're going to go and look at a video from your pal Kimmy. And she talks about keeping things for a long time. I featured a video from her in another roundup I did like this a few months back. And we're back for another visit because I really like these videos at first.
Another installment of things I've had for a long time because we are meant to have things and keep them for a long time. Today, we're going to talk about some of my things that I've had the longest and things that you should look for when you are buying items so that you can use them and keep them for a long time, because we are meant to have things for the duration of their lifetime and not just for the 7 times that the average American wears their clothes for. The first is shoes. I just have these as an example. These are my Birkenstock Bostons. I have a pair of Birkenstock sandals. All of them I've had for at least 5 years. I need to get these resold, but they will last. And Birkenstock has, again, year after year, stood the test of time as a classic shoe. And yes, these have made a resurgence, but I wore these in middle school. Like, this is not like a new style. So it's buying shoes of quality. For me, I like to buy my like boots from Keen. They last really great. I have Chaco sandals I've had for years, like at least 10 years. And then Birkenstock. And I love those brands. You can find them secondhand. You can find them on Poshmark. Even if they've been worn, they are still good. My Keen boots that I've had for like 7 years, those bad boys were bought at the thrift store. And I will continue to wear them until there's holes in them because they are so good. Next is denim. Try to buy nice quality denim because they will last you a long time. These are a pair of Levi's wedgie straight that I've had since I graduated college. They somehow, by some miracle, still fit me after 3 children. But they are just like a nice straight leg pant that I know will carry me through all the seasons of life, and I will wear them regardless. Another example, these I'm wearing. These are a little bit more of a crop flare. These are my Brixton ones, and I love these. I will continue to wear them, and they're perfect. And they're not just like a trend. They're not a barrel leg that is going to be stuck in time, but I'm saying if you do want to buy into trends, buy them secondhand. Don't buy them new because we don't know if a barrel leg is going to be here forever. And unfortunately, people don't just wear things because they like them anymore. They buy them because they're on trend. The next is buying natural fiber sweaters. This is, for an example, one that I love and I rave about all the time, my Honest Cotton sweater. I love this because it's cropped, the sleeves are cropped, and so I don't have to worry about like things getting on them, and it's lightweight that I can wear it in the summer, I can wear it in the winter. It's just about buying things that fit into your season of life, but are, universal. It's white, it's cream, it's easy to wear whenever. But natural fibers. Buy the natural fiber.
I think we've seen enough. I think we're good. The one caveat I want to make to her, like, buy the natural neutral colors, I am going to push back on that just a little bit. I like her sentiment, but I think it's more like buy the colors that are most wearable for you. Not everybody's into the neutral sweater thing. That might be for you, might not be for you, just whatever that version is for you. I like hearing the things that have lasted in people's closets, and also I like seeing things that are beat to hell. You can tell she wears her Birkenstocks because they are beat to hell. They are used. They're not the prettiest because she's worn them. That's how a lot of clothes should look, or shoes, or stuff, in my opinion. And yeah, you could take the best care of your stuff, but it's unrealistic to think after 10, 15 years, your shoes are going to be in pristine condition if you're wearing them all the time. And sometimes, like when I see people, like when I see influencers wearing these outfits, that they always look so fresh and so brand new, that's because they are. And a lot of people's clothes don't look like that. Even if you have sweaters and you deep bobble them and you deep pill them or whatever, your clothes are gonna show signs of wear, which is okay. And I think we just need more examples of that and just getting more, like just seeing more of that. Your clothes should look like you wear them, because if your clothes are always looking fresh, that means you're probably shopping a lot. I'm sure there's exceptions of stuff and fibers that hold up really well, and if you care for them in this way or that way, that's fine. But I bet you something in your closet, your shoes or your accessories or something, is going to show signs of wear. That's normal. That's okay. Buying quality can cost money. And I do also want to kind of add in a bit of a caveat. She says things like, buy high quality denim. Tend to agree. However, when it comes to like what high quality means, I want to add in the caveat that the thing that makes a piece in our wardrobe last the longest is quality, but it's fit. Now, if you're somebody whose weight fluctuates a lot, or like within maybe 5 years, depending on how old you are, maybe you have multiple 5-year segments to look back on, how much has your weight fluctuated? And so this could mean that like if you buy let's say $100 pair of jeans or $200 pair of jeans, if your weight fluctuates a lot, those jeans might not fit you in 2 or 3 years. And so I think there are ways to keep wardrobes that last, like buying more garments as an example that are more resistant to size or can be worn across multiple sizes, like as an example, a stretchy waistband pant. Or when it comes to dresses, like a wrap dress. Wrap dresses tend to work really well for people across multiple sizes. And so that could be a potential solution to think about. I also agree with her that trend list pieces and your personal style pieces are the way to go because trends come and go. And yes, it's okay to buy something if you think it would be part of your personal style, even if it's trending. That thing will last in your wardrobe if it's your style and you purchase it because it matches your style. And I think a good question we can ask ourselves if we're buying something would be, if this thing went out of style, would we still wear it? If yes, then that's probably more of an indicator that that's your style. I guess to go back to that point, like you don't need a specific kind of fit of sweater or color of sweater. If whatever fit that is feels true to you or whatever color that is feels true to you, then you'll wear that for years to come. So I enjoy most of her tips. And even something like resoling your shoes is something that I don't know much about. I've never resoled shoes before, and I hear it very rarely, like from time to time. I think it's probably a more expensive thing to do than going out and buying new shoes. If you're in the process of, or if you're somebody who typically like goes to mall brands to buy shoes, you could probably find shoes for under $100. And it might be cheaper to do that than resole your shoes. But I also think people find it more exciting to shop for new and replace than repair. Anyway, when it comes to good quality stuff, a lot of people say, oh, it is expensive, it's expensive. And yes, it can be expensive, but she is so right. You can find great things from secondhand marketplaces, which could be Facebook Marketplace, or it could be your thrift store, or it could be Poshmark or Mercari or ThredUp or Thrift Plus or wherever. I was looking at cashmere sweaters on ThredUp, 100% cashmere for $30 USD. You go, and I was comparing prices to new, starting prices like $150. Cashmere in the Canadian marketplace is usually more like $180 to $250, like 100% cashmere. A $30 sweater cashmere is going to be in a lot of people's budgets. Just an example. Overall, though, love seeing people wear their stuff and seeing stuff with wear. This, I think, leads very nicely into the next section. We were just kind of talking about repairs, and we're going to look at somebody, Ree Lauren, who went to a repair cafe.
This is the kind of stuff that will save the world.
What are you doing today, girl?
We're doing a repair clinic here in Compton.
So if you've never been to a repair cafe, it's quite literally the most wholesome thing in the world. These repair coaches volunteer their time to fix people's broken stuff for free. I brought my dog's bed that she has absolutely destroyed and made a new cushion out of an old sheet. Jandalyn here is the best and showed me how to sew it all together. On my dresser drawer that was hanging on for dear life, Dan here fixed it, and my NutriBullet works like a charm now. I even brought some old jewelry that I wanted to revamp, and they had all the tools to make it happen. Now, is it a bit extra to say that repair cafes will save the world? Perhaps, maybe. But when our overconsumption and throwaway culture is constantly telling us to buy new stuff that will probably end up in a landfill or dumped overseas or in the sea itself, I think repairing your stuff is pretty badass.
Repair cafes are awesome, and I love them. They're usually called a repair cafe, and there's a website called repaircafe.org, which is going to be in the description, and you can find repair cafes near you. This is, by the way, not just an American website. They have repair cafes around the world. I saw some in Kazakhstan. I also saw some in Toronto. I saw some across the world, saw some in France. Go check it out if you're interested in the repair cafe. This isn't the only resource you can use to find repair cafes. Not everybody will go through that lingo or that website. So you can just Google repair cafe near whatever city or town you're in, and you may be able to find some. I found some in Toronto and York, Vaughan, that were not associated with repaircafe.org. They're also quite frequently associated with libraries, so you can also check out your local library system to see if they have one. I found out that my library system is having one in October, and I plan to go. I wore this sweater. It's one of my favorite sweaters that I think I've shown this in previous videos. I have multiple holes. It's another sleeve. Beyond my scope or skill set, and I'm going to go there in the hope of learning to repair my sweater. One thing she does highlight is that in a lot of cases, the people there will help to teach you how to repair things. How it goes and how involved you are is going to depend on the repair cafe and the specific thing you're trying to repair. And as well, sometimes the repair cafe will just have the tools available for you to repair your thing. Sometimes we need the knowledge, but also sometimes we have the knowledge but don't have the tools. And this is like a great resource. I think that repair cafes are really great way as well to help reskill people. As I've mentioned numerous times across this channel in the past year, I've said that there has been a de-skilling of people in things like sewing or cooking or repairing. And repair cafes can help reskill us. And yes, repair cafes help to keep our items within their life cycle or still living and usable and does divert them from landfills. But that's arguably like maybe the secondary point of this all, even though that is a good thing. On a cultural level, I think repair cafes can help people shift their mindset opposed to throwaway or consumption being the answer, caring and repairing being the answer. And imagine if that mindset scaled, how different things could be. And I don't just mean in the less things being thrown away sphere, but once you actually get involved in repairing your clothes or repairing your items, I think it can make us question why we throw things away, how are things designed, and why we buy as much as we do. There has been a right to repair movement that has been growing, and people are demanding laws and protections for the right to repair. And some of it is like, protecting this right, but others is introducing it and making sure or forcing companies to make items and design items to be repairable. Because as you probably know, if you have an electronic or household item, you've probably encountered something that is not actually repairable because you can't get the part, let alone the labor. The very camera I'm filming on has a broken part to it that I have not been able to fix because they don't sell it. I have to buy like a huge unit instead of the individual item. The camera will eventually become unusable and I will have to eventually make a larger replacement that is necessary, but that is just a small scale example. And there are other things like, who remembers when you could replace your phone battery? You can't anymore because your phones are not designed with the replaceable battery. That is maybe more in like the planned obsolescence route, but that is also where things become unrepairable. So yes, repair cafes can be places where we learn skills and we learn knowledge, but repairing can become the gateway to becoming advocates or to systemic awareness. And when Relauren says that repair cafes may be able to change the world, here's my interpretation of what that could mean. Buying is usually an individual transaction. So you buy something and you get something. Repair cafes take that individual transaction and turn it into a community moment, but also we're not exchanging thing for money. We're exchanging cooperation and reciprocity. Volunteers give time, people give tools, you gain knowledge, and hopefully you pass it on. And the repair cafe normalizes a different kind of economy, one where value comes from knowledge or care and shared resources rather than money or endless purchasing. Not only that, but capitalism fosters individualism, and something like a repair cafe helps to show people the power of community and the value of community. Once people feel the power of community or community problem solving, as an example, it can become easier to imagine other areas that are benefited from such community problem solving. If a community becomes more communal, and a community could, let's say, grow its own food, repair its own clothes or appliances, or share expertise. It's less dependent on large corporations. And the sense of collective competence can become politically energizing. Small groups that start around fixing things can become, as I mentioned, energized, but also feel empowered to do more. I'm not saying that if you are in a repair cafe that automatically you're there and you're expected to do more, that it's going to turn into more. I'm just saying, imagine small groups that start repairing things might learn a thing or two about what that means for them and their community. And then all of a sudden, they're advocating for the right to repair. They lead local sustainability initiatives or broader climate action because they realize, oh, all of the things are being thrown away and all of the implications of that. Community is truly so powerful. It's probably one of our most powerful tools. And when we're in a system that emphasizes and encourages individualism and isolation, we depower and decenter communities. Think about that for a second. This leads me into our next TikTok, which will be a quick segment and ultimately a reminder. It says capitalism wants you to believe that we will save the environment by doing this, like turning off your lights and recycling, when actually it will be these things. Their examples are clean energy, reduced plastic production, fast and reliable transportation, decreased production, things like that. There's a bit of irony of this coming from a zero waste store, but ultimately, I do think that it is a good reminder, and we as the people the power is in our hands. And the more isolated, kind of as I was mentioning earlier, the more isolated we feel, or the more I'm just one person, what can I do? Keeps us small, keeps us isolated, and keeps people from preventing them from realizing their own power as well as the power of community. The more helpless you feel as an individual, the less likely you are to fight the status quo. And we as people, as individuals, need to remember that. It's always worth mentioning. Yes, we're doing a bit of a feel-good video today, and there is a TikTok I saw from Get Marie who talks about like why I showed it in a video a few months back, why still make these individual efforts when we do need collective efforts? And her answer was hope. And I share this video today to keep us positive and hopeful. That's important to keep us going. But we also do need some of the key message in here as well. So let's keep going. And we're going to look at, I think our last one today is going to be on fall decor. We're going to look at two.
Your Target dollar spot Halloween decor looks cheap, is cheap, and is totally void of any personality. Here are some fall and Halloween items you can thrift instead, so you can have affordable, sustainable, and cuter decor. Candle holders, particularly brass and those candelabras. The candelabras are going to be a bit harder to find, but the brass candlestick holders are surprisingly easy. They're just going to give that cozy, but also kind of haunted house vibe. You can also decide if you want cozy or more haunted house vibes by determining which tapered candles you should thrift. Whether they're light and airy or dark and moody, you can get them for super cheap to where you don't feel bad about actually burning them. Little knickknack figurines, you can then spray paint them black or any other more seasonal color and make kind of a more creepy version of this cute thrift store figurine. You can also thrift old books like this one I have here. I like to look for things that kind of look like spell books to me. Again, we're just trying to make our house look like it might be a little haunted. Pumpkin galore. Listen, if you're just looking for a basic little pumpkin decoration for a mantle or a shelf, I guarantee you your thrift store is full of them. Silver serveware and pitchers. I just think something about these patinaed silver pieces, which I mean, if you're gonna eat off of it, don't keep the patina on there. Something screams Halloween to me. They're just a little bit moody. Old jars or uniquely shaped jars that you could put in a little collection of potion bottles. I plan on doing this year for the first time. You can buy things to put in them, but I plan on foraging things to put in mine. And it's like bringing a little taste of the season into my home. Surprisingly, Christmas wreaths. If you get a plain one, you can glue other thrifted fall items to the wreath and boom, it's good for fall and Halloween instead. Old picture frames. Then you can put old creepy photos in them. Or what I think is really cute is printing out different headshots of creepy little characters and putting those in the frames on your wall instead. To go along with that, you can also thrift regular everyday art prints and then have a night where you paint ghosts onto the paintings. This has been a trend for like 2 or 3 years now, but I still think it's so fun. Sheets, plain white sheets. That's because they're super easy to throw over different items and make little ghosts throughout your home. But there's so many ways to use these and they're super easy to find. And finally, the thing I think you absolutely should be thrifting this year is your Halloween costume. I don't want to see you in those spirit Halloween costumes that make me scared to light my tapered candles next to you because you look flammable. And follow for more because I'm going to give you more thrifted Halloween costume ideas in just over a week.
She did in fact deliver on that. So this is Alyssa Barber. You can go check her out. She's here on YouTube, but also on TikTok. And you can look at her Halloween ideas. Okay, we're gonna watch another one and we'll talk about them together. The next one is from Morgan Evelyn Cook. And oh, sorry, I hit the mic. And she's gonna give us an idea for DIY items.
So my relationship with crafting is very delicate because on one hand I love it and find it very satisfying, but on the other hand, if I can't do it well enough, I cry. So if you feel the same and you need a really easy fall craft, here you go. Go outside, get some leaves, wash them, let them dry. Make sure they're fully dry. Cover them in Mod Podge, let that dry. Flatten them, collage them, put them in a frame. If you want to walk the line of fun and misery, cut up the leaves into little squares and make a mosaic. I hate myself, so I did that. But if you like yourself, you could just leave the leaves intact and artfully place them next to each other on a beige piece of cardboard and it would still look really good, arguably better. So, okay, have fun.
So Alyssa's video is giving us inspiration for alternatives to buying new Halloween decor. Here's a picture of a thrift store I went into back in August. This particular thrift store was actually very small, but had a really big Halloween section in August. I have gone to a couple since and not all of them had a Halloween section, but this one was just banging for whatever reason. I like that she gives people ideas of things that you could consider getting secondhand instead of buying new. So if you like the candlestick or the paintings and it gives you kind of some DIY things, that's great. But also just, I kind of feel like it's the overall influence in that, imagine if your feed had a lot more of the check these cool things out and encouraging you or inspiring or using their influence to influence you to check out the thrift store instead of using that influence to go and buy spooky things on Amazon. Sometimes we just need the reminder that we can find amazing, great things secondhand. The other TikTok from Morgan is really about using nature as your DIY. And she ended up doing a mosaic, which she said you didn't have to do. And she found leaves, washed them, dried them, Mod Podged them. I actually did look up some other tutorials for this, and other people have used wax, candle wax, or glycerin. If you don't have those around, leaf pressing is also a thing. So it's not this or nothing. And if you are a Pinterest girly like myself, or a Pinterest fan, there are lots of natural or nature-inspired DIY. Somebody left a comment that they did the pine cone thing. They got pine cones in their neighborhood, put them in the freezer, and it was a great time. So these are both just using their influence to influence you to do the fall thing, autumnal thing, Halloween thing in different way. Influence for good. All right. I said those were the last one, but I lied. Okay, I didn't lie. This one was originally in the script. It's Troy's story. That's his name. I'm looking and I am pushing the envelope for time, but like we're not there yet. So we got time. So we're going to end. This is the official last TikTok. I have nothing more in the script. It's Troy's story.
Below your means will show you that you don't need a whole lot to feel joy. Yes, there is a financial responsibility aspect to it, but honestly, it's the little things that count. Like even sitting out here, people watching, enjoying the views, that's enough for me. I know my fulfillment comes from just enjoying the simple things of life. And the more you practice it, the more you realize you don't really need much to feel joy.
I think this is a great one to end on with just the reminder that simple things can bring us joy, and we also don't need money to experience joy. I think we talked or got a lot of coverage on that in the Normalizing Normal Life video that went out last week. And a lot of people in this community know that and experience that and look to appreciate that. But I think it's always worth that reminder. And as Troy says, there are powerful financial benefits and incentives to living below your means. But I think a side effect of that, if you are doing it for financial reasons, is realizing that you don't need stuff to be happy. One commenter wrote, and I'm going to read it because I just said it best, people are so focused on lifestyle and getting rich that they miss out on life. In some cases, it's not getting rich. It's people can be so busy working that they miss out on life, or so busy doing X thing that they miss out on life. As much as I'm somebody who wants to be in the moment and experiencing life, I sometimes am not good at doing that. And I do get caught up in things and work and what have you, that I forget to tap into life and to be in the moment and be present. And some people help bring me back to that, or some activities help bring me back to that. And this is one of the reasons why I'm toying with another no buy year, is a year dedicated to that. Okay, I'm going to go. I think that's my cue. I don't know if you can hear that, but It's time to go. So thank you so much for watching, being here today. I enjoyed having you here. I hope you'll subscribe to catch more videos like this. I have some great ones coming your way in October. The schedule is scheduling. Okay, I mean it's hitting. It's hitting. We are, spoiler alert between me and you, we are doing a revisit of a video from last year. If you were here last year in October, is there a video that stands out to you of that period? I don't know. One stands out to me, and we are revisiting that thing. And I have a slightly different perspective than I did a year ago. Growth, maybe? Who knows? So that's everything for me today. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again around here soon for a new one. Bye.